We are back on Get Up, approaching the bottom of the hour. We usually do Monday, Dan, but today's Tuesday, and we have Dan. So let's do Tuesday, Dan. A lot of movement in the NFL at the quarterback position yesterday, Danny. Let's figure out what it all means. Let's start in Seattle. Sam Darnold to the Seahawks means what?
Seattle, you still have work left to do. Sam Darnold left the most comfortable cocoon in the NFL when it comes to play caller, offensive line, and outside perimeter weapons. Seattle does not have that. I like Jackson Smith and Jigba. Nice player. Clint Kubiak, very intrigued by. Offensive line, not nearly as good. And the plethora of people that he will have to throw the football to, not nearly as good. Seattle, I like the addition. There's work to get done.
Okay, I like it. Let's go back to last Friday. Geno Smith to the Raiders means what?
Absolutely nothing in the draft if the quarterback you like is there. Geno Smith's really good. I've been on Geno Smith's train for a couple years. And I understand the trade if you're the Las Vegas Raiders. Brock Bowers, Geno Smith can throw the ball downfield into tight windows with anyone. If Shedeur Sanders or a Jackson Dart or a Cam Ward somehow happens to be there and you like him at that draft spot in the first round, you still take them.
They pick at 6. The Jets pick at 7. Let's go to them. Justin Fields to the Jets means what?
Low risk, high reward. Really smart by the New York Jets because, one, you're getting a player in Justin Fields that has had moments and maybe hasn't had the consistent moments, but there's been some really good highs there. And he's just getting the opportunity to become the guy at a team and an organization that gives him a better footing than the start he had in Chicago. It also gives you a cheap player at the position that you know you'll be able to run the football with and not have to panic in the draft that you have to hire or sign or draft a rookie quarterback and get him on the field right now. Low risk, high reward.
Yes, I agree completely. Let's stop down and talk about this one in a minute. I want to get into the draft piece of it for a moment, but there's, I'm sure, a lot of people tuning in. They want to hear our perspective on the Jets and their move yesterday because we are so associated with the team. D. Wood, I'll let you go first as a former Jet and one who still is around the team a lot. What was your reaction to the Jets signing Justin Fields?
I thought it was a great move. I really did, considering what's out there in free agency at the quarterback position. I thought it was great. You're getting a guy who's, 26 years old, uber athletic. I think there's still a lot more there in him. And I think if you're the Jets, Aaron Glenn wants to run the football. Well, guess what? You could make an offense around the athletic skills of Justin Fields. You can win that way. You can win running the football and playing great defense. Oh, by the way, trying to figure out the quarterback position long term. And so for me, this is a great opportunity for Justin Fields to come in, but essentially it's a one-year deal.
Yeah.
Build this offense around him, see what this guy can do. If he proves that he could be a long-term solution, great. If not, you just resetting it and you attack the quarterback position next year.
And I think that's definitely a possibility. I'll say that there could be more in this player. There can be more there that hasn't been shown. Right, and Aaron Glenn can possibly bring that out. And then if you're the New York Jets, it's like, wow, we just struck gold. I think absolutely it's possible. But and if it doesn't, this is a good priced quarterback while your head coach is trying to build this culture through the running game, toughness, offensive line, and a player that, complements that philosophy.
Yeah.
He's 26. I mean, not a finished product, and he started enough games in the league that you can throw him out there, and the moment's not going to be too big for him. Is he going to be good enough? We don't know. The jury's still out long term. But, he can be your bridge quarterback and possibly more than that.
Okay, let me say something else here. I mean, because Justin's been shielded a little bit. I mean, last year through Mike Tomlin, a head coach like that. I mean, New York can sometimes get to a guy. I'll say that. I mean, can he handle being in a city like this he has one bad game and whoever they sign up to have the backup and they're calling for someone like that, there's going to be a lot more pressure. Dan brought up the word cocoon. I mean, and Fields was in a little bit of a cocoon in Pittsburgh when you have a head coach that takes care of that and you got a veteran quarterback. And so now you're just sort of off in the background now. And now you survive, take it personally. Here you are now, but then everybody loves you now. But it turns really quickly for the team because of the team that he's playing for.
I hear Chicago can be like.
I hear what you're saying. He played huge in college football playoff games,
right.
Huge games. He was a first-round pick in Chicago, and things went about as badly as they possibly could for a variety of reasons, not all of them his.
Yeah.
And so now he comes here. Look, here's the bottom line of this. The first thing Dan said, I think, is the most important thing. This is an extremely low-risk move by the Jets. If they had signed him to the deal that Sam Darnold got in Seattle yesterday, I would have had a lot of questions. They're giving this a one-year shot, and I like it. If you watch this show or you listen to my radio show, you know I'm a believer in Justin Fields. I think there is a lot there. I think that there is only one quarterback who runs with the football more explosively in the entire NFL than him, and that's Lamar Jackson. I think that I've never seen a team fully take advantage of that from Justin. I hope the Jets will do that. The second piece of this that I think is important to note is there is circumstantial evidence that suggests the league doesn't believe in him, right?
Sure.
He was traded for within the last 12 months or so, he was traded for a 7th-round pick. He was it 6th? Mm-hmm. Okay, 6th-round pick. And he was benched in Pittsburgh, and they never went back to him despite how badly the offense cratered. So if you want to try and tear this move down, it is easy to do. I believe it has potential high reward and almost no risk. Sure. If it doesn't go well, you're right back at it next year. Now, I do think, Dan, you brought up earlier in this conversation the idea that the Raiders, who are drafting at 6, might still take a quarterback if one that they really like. And let's face it, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders because Cam Ward is not going to be available at 6. Sanders may not be. But if he is sitting there at 6, maybe the Raiders take him. If Sanders is sitting there at 7, Shedeur Sanders is sitting there at 7, do you believe the Jets should take him if they like him?
If Shedeur Sanders is there, I would take him if I was the Jets, yes. I don't think you have to. You don't have to move up to go get him unless you love him. But if he's there, I think his talent in the way that he can throw the football and maneuver within the pocket and seize the defense, I would take him if I was the New York Jets. The way the structure or contract is structured with Justin Fields, wanted to make, I think the two names that are most important in relation to this and Justin is 1, Tanner Engstrand, and 2, Garrett Wilson. Tanner Engstrand is their new offensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions. He's not Jared Goff. Don't make him be Jared Goff. So I think the challenge upon him is to build the offense around Justin. 2, I look at Garrett Wilson in this situation a little bit like I looked at Justin Jefferson with Sam Darnold and whatnot. Does this make Garrett want to stay? Does this make Garrett want to sign an extension? Because if you're the Jets and you don't give him an extension, you're nuts. And I think that is a huge part of this storyline with the Jets is keeping Garrett Wilson in your organization long term.
Look, Garrett Wilson
dollars will do that.
They were college teammates, weren't they?
They were at Ohio State together.
Yeah,
they have that bond together. We'll see what all happens. So Justin Fields is where he is. All these teams have made all of their moves. And then our next stop is Washington, another team that has been very busy. Jaden Daniels has a new left tackle. His team trades for 5-time Pro Bowler Laremy Tunsil from Houston. We talked about this earlier. The conversation here was about whether or not the Commanders have closed the gap on Philadelphia. They have certainly been very aggressive during this free agent period. The Dallas Cowboys, as usual, have not been. And so after this move, the Tunsil trade was announced, Micah Parsons, as he has a tendency to do, weighed in as only he can. He quote tweeted Adam Schefter reporting the trade with the letters WTF, which stand for why the face?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So here's what I would say. Here is my message to you, Micah. Get used to it. You can get the huge money in Dallas, but if you are sitting there saying, well, why are all these other teams signing all these other really good players when we obviously need them? The answer is your team doesn't do that. That's not the way they do business in Dallas, and it has cost them, and it will continue to. So, Micah, I understand you want to be there, but I think you have to make up your own mind. Do I want to be one of the biggest stars in the NFL? Because the Cowboys will make you that. Or do I want to be on a championship team? Because right now the Cowboys feel about as far away from that as almost anyone in the entire league. Orlovsky, what did you think of what Micah Parsons tweeted yesterday?
Well, he knows he's got to go against Tunsil a bunch now. The Cowboys are in the last 3 seasons 13th in cash spending. They've gone up almost $3 billion in value. That's an owner statistic. The value of the organization continues to rise. Their willingness to spend money continues to stay kind of average or plateaued. And I think Mike is at the point of going, how come I'm in an organization that doesn't truly feel like they want to go win a championship?
What do you think?
You're saying Micah should request a trade?
No, I'm not saying he should request a trade, but I think what winds up happening is he gets a monstrous contract. We talked all day yesterday about how, well, Myles Garrett's contract means Micah's going to get paid even more than that, and he has suggested he might take a little less money, but whatever it is, he's going to be extremely highly paid and deserves to be because he's an unbelievable player. But they have completely mismanaged their roster. They should have signed Dak way before they did. They should have signed CD way before they did. They got to take care of the Micah Parsons situation, and they are going to be so hamstrung that once again they continue not to make any meaningful moves in free agency because that's just not what they do. And right this minute, it feels like they are a distant third in the NFC East with no hope to move up.
Not only third, but they spent last season watching the NFC Championship game
Correct.
with the two teams that are in front of them.
Right.
And that's the ultimate insult, basically, when you're a team in a division and the championship game of the conference are two teams from your division. It's an embarrassing thing, and that's just a reality the Cowboys are going to have to get used to.
I would just be sick to my stomach if I'm Micah. You've seen, just think about this over the past couple of years, you've seen the Philadelphia Eagles go get Saquon Barkley. You've seen all the moves that the Philadelphia Eagles have made and ultimately led to a Super Bowl. You've seen the Washington Commanders go out there and draft Jaden Daniels to transform the whole organization. And after that season, now they're about to go ahead and start getting on a run because they figured we got to cash in on this rookie contract that is Jaden Daniels. And here it is, the Dallas Cowboys, they're just sitting back like, all is well, status quo, we're going to continue to do what we're doing. And if you're Michael, do you really want to be part of that? I know money, throwing a bag at someone is great, but at the end of the day, we all want to win. We all want to feel like we got a chance to win a championship. I just wonder what Micah is thinking right now.
Graz.
I mean, it's Tuesday morning. Like, there are still players. Like, I think the Cowboys will acquire some players. I don't think they're going to go out
like
there.
Like Javonte Williams?
The $3 million running back is like a sure thing for the Javonte Williams, 24 years old.
Yeah, he's a good player.
I mean, like, that's a worthwhile shot to take on a free agent running back. So we'll see. They need a corner. They need a linebacker. I think they're out there beating the bushes for it, but that doesn't. The reason the Cowboys don't sign big free agents is not because they can't. It's not because the salary cap situation prevents it. It's because they don't believe that is the way to build a roster. And frankly, they have one down year, but they won 12 games 3 years in a row.
Someone should just show them.
Spillane is gone. Greenlaw's gone to the Denver Broncos.
Linebacker's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Someone needs to show them C36 because the top free agent spending team in the NFL has improved its win total in 9 straight off seasons, all by at least 3 wins. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles were that team, and they, of course, wound up winning the Super Bowl. So the reality is, it works. Spending money in free agency in the right circumstances works.
But wait, again, like devil's advocate, right? Like if you win, they won 12 3 years in a row. You're not going to improve that by 3, right? Those teams had not gone 12-5, right? So now the Cowboys come off a down year. They have holes to fill. They have trade inquiries out. I mean, there are things that they can do. I just think it's too soon to judge.
I hope they do. Yeah.
The 12 win seasons from the Cowboys seem like eons ago. Like
but they're not.
The way their roster looks right now compared to those years, it seemed like a lifetime ago.
Okay, I got to leave it there.